watching Greatness Quest. I'm Trevor Crane, and every week I'm bringing you someone absolutely extraordinary who is an entrepreneur or business leader. This week is Pam Hendrickson. Thank you so much for being here. You promised me a kiss.
Thank you for having me. I did. Now there's lipstick on your face.
I can handle that. Honey, that's all we got. So, at any rate, what's great about bringing Pam here is she is a product creation expert, and we are in San Diego in a hotel where you just finished a phenomenal training and an introduction to your new product. So can you tell everybody watching a little bit about why it's so important to have a product?
Yeah, well, what I help business owners do, entrepreneurs, experts, authors, speakers, coaches, and consultants, is package their ideas into a product or service that they can sell without them having to be there to deliver it all the time. But the whole point is that, you know, what do we all want? We want more impact. We want to make a difference with our message. We want the income, but without us having to be there because we want the lifestyle. So when you can combine all of them together into a system where you're adding value without it being dependent on you, then you have something that does great things for your audience, but that also helps you build a business and scale your impact and your income.
So I've been in service-based businesses my whole life. I had an environmental protection company. I'm a scuba instructor.
Oh, cool.
I have a boat captain.
Yeah.
All these things that I used to do as service. And as a business consultant now for almost 15 years, my challenge has been I always sold my coaching consulting services. And I have products, but I never let them lead my business.
Yeah.
So one of the things I've learned from Pam over the last few years of following you online and about this product is how powerful that can be to have it go to work for you.
It can, and I love consulting and delivering services too. I still do some of my own consulting. It's a great way just to meet people and keep your skills sharp and all those things. But the only way you can scale your impact, there's always a ceiling on what you can do, what you can make, the difference you can make as well, unless you have other ways to package it. But there's more than one way to go, and I think that's one of the things. You know, I often say I've been in business for 25 years. I worked for 20 years, and then I've been on my own for about the last 5 or so. And I have made every mistake you can possibly make when it comes to building a business, making, marketing, launching a product or service. And one of the things I've learned is it's about expanding the offerings that you have available, not just getting into this mindset of doing one thing, you know? So if you have a service-based business, then how can you package the core training so people can access it without you having to be there? Or if you have a training, how can you add on higher end services? Or how can you add on, you know, other different pieces to build it out?
And I'm just gonna, do you have any experience at all? Because here's the cool thing, I didn't mention this at the beginning, is that you actually got to work with Tony Robbins for at least 1 or 2 years, right? And I think you helped him
18 years.
18 years. And you helped him design at least 1 or 2 products, I think?
Yeah,
or
I was
all
in
of
charge.
them?
I was vice president of product development, and I learned a lot, and I'm grateful. And they're amazing content and products to work with in the first place. But it was just an amazing experience because I got to learn by doing it.
Well, and also Pam is known for being one of the most systematic and what do you call them? SOPs, like to create a system for everything.
Standard operating procedure.
Yes,
but it just means that to get a result. So you know, if you have information that you're sharing or training or teaching, you know, there's so much talk I think about when you deliver your message. You know, you've got to be able to tell a good story and relate to people emotionally and connect with them, and that's all true. But when it comes to training and delivering or structuring a product, it is structure. Structure comes before story. And if you think about it, think about music, right? And music is one of the things that really has the power to move us emotionally. But music is really based on mathematics. And without that structure in place, you can't enjoy the music because you're kind of like
anarchy.
It's
right?
Yeah, right. That's exactly right.
You have a random assortment
it's random,
of notes.
And most people commit random acts of business, random acts of marketing, random acts of content, and they're missing that structure. And that's a big piece. I really have to credit Tony Robbins for really teaching me the importance of structuring things, breaking them down step by step so your audience can use it to get a result.
And that's the other thing that I like is another challenge I had in the past was creating something for a one-off and then not creating that system for my own business that I can duplicate every time. Now, ironically, that's what I do with my clients because it's always a system. I mean, there's people.
And we can always do it for someone else. It's always wear the cobbler's shoes. You know, it's our own selves that we struggle with doing it.
And what we're talking about now is how you can create your own product and how you can do it easily instead of making some of the mistakes that some of us have made of putting way too much time and energy into the production of something.
Yeah.
And which is like the way of the past, and it's a deadly mistake that people can make versus putting most of your creating a phenomenal, when you follow the right system, but doing the right, creating the product and also the promotion that goes along with it is so much more important.
And listen, so reasons to create a product or service, right? It leverages your impact, it scales your income, it allows you to make a difference. If there's something people keep asking you for over and over again, you can put it in a product, you can make money while you're doing whatever it is you want to do, off enjoying, off doing other parts of your business, being with your family, whatever it is. But the mistake people make is we think we have to make this perfect product. But you look at any company out there. Take Nike shoes, for example. Do you know how Nike was started? We do now, because you heard me talk about it today.
I saw the picture of the waffle iron today.
That's right. So there's the punchline. But Bill Bowerman, who's one of the co-founders of Nike, he just wanted a lighter and more durable shoe. So he took his wife Barbara's waffle iron, poured rubber in it, and created the first Nike shoe. And you look at any business, big or small, their first product or service wasn't perfect because they knew not to put all of the time and energy and money into making it perfect until they knew who their customers were. They knew that there was a demand and a need for what it was they had to offer. And most important, interact with their customers, because that's what makes the product great. Your customers will teach you what they want to know and what they want your product to do.
So what I want to do is we're going to take a quick break, but we also want to give away a gift. So if you go to greatnessquest.com/Pam, what we're going to do is give them, do you have a quick start guide or something like that?
I have a getting started book that will walk you through A to Z. If this is all new to you, oh my gosh, where do I dive in and what do I do first? And it will answer all those questions.
Okay, so we're going to be back in just a second. You're watching Greatness Quest on the Whatever It Takes Network, and we're going to get into secrets or things that you can implement right away to get your product done and out there. All right, welcome back. I'm Trevor Crane. You're watching the Whatever It Takes Network. I'm here with Pam Hendrickson, and we are having fun in a hotel in San Diego, talking about how you can start your own product. So again, we're going to give away a free gift. And can you tell us a little bit about what that is so that people know what they need to do right now, even if they don't go get that, which would be ridiculous not to? greatnessquest.com/Pam, and you're going to get the free gift. But this is about how you can make a product right away. So what do they gotta do?
And it's how to get started, because that's the biggest question we all have. And I think, for many of us, we've been in, doing what we do, or we've had this area of expertise, but to know how to, turn that into a business or package it, it's kind of like, where do I start? What do I do first? And so what happens is, I made this mistake when I was starting out. I focused on all of the wrong things. I was focused on setting up the business and, how I was going to deliver the product and all the technology, which wasted a ton of my time.
And like to weeks, to months,
to
years, right?
My business, the first year I was in business, and this is embarrassing because this is after, 18 plus year career creating, making, marketing, launching products and services, I lost my business. And it wasn't because we didn't have product sales, and it wasn't because it was a good product. It was because I didn't understand how to put it together, and I didn't understand how to start in a way that makes sense. So, and it was devastating because, I've got a, I've been in business a long time, I've got an academic background, and it was like, on paper, I thought, I'm going to be great. So I was devastated.
Okay, so hold on. After working for 18 years with Tony Robbins, putting together some of the most amazing products on the planet,
and then I consulted with other high-end brands to create products and services.
And you helped everybody, and so many people that we know mutually, and a ton more that are playing at all these big levels. You went out to do the same thing for yourself, created some amazing products, and still didn't make money.
Because I didn't understand where to start. I tried to start there.
You get this is so good because I've experienced this so many times in business. I had success in one business, go on to the next, and think it's just going to
be great.
And I've always found that I always get help. If I get help, if someone just shows me what to do, and they can say, stop, don't do that, do this.
Because it's so hard to see for yourself. We have so many blind spots.
But I'm so smart. I should be able to do this myself. And I'm the idiot that had to get a job to support my business habit for 6 months until I thought I was waiting tables all night. And then I'd go ride my boat during the day. It was awful. So, and it's not nice to hear, but it's nice to hear there's somebody who's phenomenal at building a product and building a product business can have challenges.
And I was so embarrassed about it because here I thought, okay, I'm the product person. And here I am, and I'm making my own product-based business, and it's not working.
Well,
So
and
it was,
I'm interjecting here,
Yeah.
but I also want to just acknowledge you because I love the vulnerability. Because so oftentimes people are scared to tell the truth,
Yeah.
and they don't want anybody to know, and they're like, oh my god, and especially because you said you're embarrassed about it, but it's empowering to go ahead and hear
well,
somebody
because
tell the truth.
it's real, because we've all been through it. And one of the things that drives me nuts, and it's one of the reasons I've connected with you, is you will hear, right, sometimes in marketing, and it's the exception, not the rule, but you'll hear about somebody who's like, oh, well, I just sent 3 emails out, and I was on my boat in the Bermuda, and I just made $7 million with the click of a button. And it drives me nuts, because this is not how business works in the real world.
I'm rich, I was born rich, I'm always rich, and everything's rich, and look at my helicopter,
And
look
it's
at
not
mine.
a straight line, but then what happens is we try something that doesn't work perfectly the first time, and then we think something's wrong with us.
And
Or
so we
think-
pull back,
and we
quit,
pull back,
or don't
and we
take that.
stop doing the very thing that's going to make us successful. So I really think, when it comes to, building your business and creating products and services, the first hurdle is the big one. The first one is really just getting your head screwed on straight and the mindset around how you're going to approach it.
Absolutely. So now you were going to give us the first step of what it takes to get started, and we're starting with mindset. But here's another thing: is who should have a
Yeah.
product or a service?
Yeah, I mean, anybody who's in business. It's if you think about it, look at anybody who's out there marketing or selling anything online. So you might see a marketer do a launch for Facebook ads, or for podcasting, or for how to write a book. But think about this. Does the Facebook ads person sell Facebook ads? Does the podcast person sell podcasts? No. What are they selling? They're selling a product or service. So the key to how to deliver your message and where the money is in the vehicle that you use to deliver the value of your message, which is a product or service.
Okay, so in my example, when I'm doing the service, I'm
Right.
the vehicle, and I can
Yeah.
only run for so many hours
That's
a day.
right.
So my father is a horseshoer, a farrier,
Oh, I love it.
and he is 67 years old, I think. And he's still a horseshoer and a farrier.
That's
That's kind of the same thing. But
I don't know. I didn't even know the word.
you didn't know that.
No.
Well, some people do. Now you know. Farrier.
Barrier. That's what I got to. So is that where FE iron comes from? The element anyway.
I don't know.
I'm getting all geeky.
No. But my dad would say, and many business owners might say, or an entrepreneur who doesn't have a product yet says, well, this isn't for me. Like,
Yeah.
I can't have one. But my dad's
Yeah.
67, and he's still out there shooting
Yeah.
horses. And his knees are hurting, his back hurting, his shoulders hurting. He's got a challenge.
Yeah.
What would you tell
But
him?
I bet he has how many years of experience and expertise?
He's been doing this since he was 18
He's got
years old.
story after story. I'm sure just really amazing, compelling stories that I'm sure could help people. And he could go a couple of different directions. He could do a training course. Actually, one of my clients has a certification course. He's in the horse training business. And you probably met him, Pat.
Pat, I was gonna
Yeah.
say.
And what he does is he trains other people how to take care of and breed and manage these horses. And he certifies them in his process. So he's not out there actually doing the work anymore. He's training other people to do it who are going through his certification program. So that's something for your dad. And from a legacy standpoint, how beautiful for his knowledge to get passed
be
on.
pass it on.
So he could create a, teach other people how to do what he's doing, or he could teach other people how to go out, and build a business, and then teach a lot more people the system.
And so there's going to be resistance. Okay, so if my dad's watching this
Yeah.
right now, and so I know you're probably not a horseshoer, whoever's watching right now, because I'm not necessarily talking to my
For
dad.
sure.
But
I
you're
hope he's
gonna-
not watching. He didn't know his age.
That's okay. He probably doesn't know his age.
I forget sometimes.
I forget my age. So at any rate, I'm confused with this stuff. So if you're having resistance, because I can see my dad saying, yeah, but not for me.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to have a certification program.
Yeah.
Because I can go with you on the journey that you just
Yeah.
did, but everybody else listening for whatever their business is
Right.
like, well, maybe that's not for me. Because I don't know how to do it. I don't know how.
Right.
So we're gonna go on a break quickly, shortly. But what does somebody do to get started and step forward?
Start helping people with what you know. It's as simple as it sounds. Is just go out, and whether you're speaking, whether you put a small group of customers, that's what I did. I went out and made an offer and put a very small group of people, 23 people, through my system. Taught them what I knew. I didn't even know exactly what my system was, but talking to them and teaching them, it helped me figure it out. I recorded what I did with them. That became my first version, and then I was able to refine it.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. You're watching Greatness Quest on the Whatever It Takes Network. Welcome back. You're watching Greatness Quest. I'm here with Pam Hendrickson. I'm just kidding.
What was that all about?
No, Pam Hendrickson. And she is an expert at helping entrepreneurs, anybody in business really, launch their product and create it from scratch and not take a year or to all this overwhelm to make it happen, but get anybody to create a product that can make money for you long term. So
that's right.
Go ahead.
It's short term and long term. And the first step is really understanding what you want. And so, for me, for example, one of the reasons I started my own business is I had kids. And, I had a job where I was traveling a lot on the road and I wasn't home. And I wanted to do something where I could help people and I could teach and train and share what I know, but I could be home for the most part to do it. So I created online products or services. Now, I have a really good friend of mine who loves to travel. She loves to speak and be on the road. So her products and services look a little bit differently based on what she likes to do and the lifestyle she wants. So the first thing is really understanding what do you want to do, what do you like to do, so we can match up your business to match that.
So it is completely then what type of lifestyle do you want to have? So it starts with lifestyle, and then what business are you going to be in or begin,
That's right.
or a new version of your business to go ahead and support that lifestyle
And
versus the other way
imagine
around.
the freedom when you have that kind of clarity of, okay, here's what I want to do and here's what I want. It changes everything because then you know what to do and you know what not to do, which is sometimes more important.
Well, and I now have the opportunity with what I'm doing with my daughter or with my family life is that I get to take every weekend off and I'm with my family.
Yeah.
In my previous businesses, that was never an option.
never
I was in water sports, I was in tourism, we used to take adventure trips to different places around the world, and I was always working for holidays. That was the time I made money.
Yeah.
And now I wouldn't give that up for any amount of money because
You-
that's my
You can, and it was why people ask me sometimes, like, why would you leave? You have the greatest job in the world working for Tony Robbins, and it was an amazing job. I loved it. But the reason I left was I had my kids, and I would come home screaming in the driveway at 8 o'clock at night, hoping I would be there in time to kiss them goodnight. And I just thought, man, I'm missing out on what's most important to me, what my purpose is. And it's different for everyone. But when you understand that, it gives you clarity about what to do in terms of your business.
Well, what's really cool about this is I probably saw about 24 hot seats where Pam was interviewing or interacting with other entrepreneurs or business owners about what they need to do in their business. And they were saying, okay, I have these challenges, I have these desires, and what you're talking about right now, and it doesn't necessarily feel like we've covered a lot of content, but I think it's really important stuff.
Because if you're off up front, that little bit of being off becomes a lot as you get going.
Well, and all the questions were around what do you want?
That's right.
You're like, describe your business so I have an understanding of what you do.
What are your problems? What do you need to solve? Yeah.
And then what do you want? And it was so cool for the audience to watch you interact with people. And I have the same thing with my clients. I probe them, and you see their brain turn. They don't understand
and it's the
their
tools we
challenge.
try to provide for people. Sometimes it's just knowing what questions to ask and what not to do is the greatest clarity. But then what you do is once you have clarity about what you want and what you want your business to give you, then the next step is about them. It's about your audience, who you're here to serve. And and the whole thing is that, so often people come in and say, my first question is, who's your product or service for? They'll say, everyone. I want to help everyone.
Okay, deadly mistake.
Yeah,
if
right?
you're saying that your product's for everyone or service, you automatically have a massive challenge. Stop that
Because
right
it's like
there.
trying to shoot an arrow in the dark. You don't know the target you're trying to hit. But when you know the exact, precise person that you can help, want to help, and are here to help, then you know how to message things, and it just creates a relationship. Like, have you ever had that experience? You meet someone, and you just feel like you have this instant rapport and connection, right? And you just
No.
and you just feel like and you just feel like they get you, right? And they get you. It's that understanding. That understanding is what creates connection. That connection creates trust, and that trust is what allows you to influence them for their greater good. So that's a mouthful, but what it means is when you know who your ideal customer is down to the person, you can speak to them in their language, in their terms, and that's what gets them to respond.
I'm looking for something around for something I can use as props. I'm using
Me.
So okay, so hold on, we're going to use us.
Oh, I'm a prop.
So the first thing, so you had said, hold on, I'll take these down so I don't get confused with too many hands in the air. So the first thing you said is, you need a product. You need a
That's
product
right.
that
You need a way to make money that's not dependent on you and your time.
which is what we're talking about, which is why you can get the free gift that the Pam's going to give away. And when you go to greatnessquest.com/Pam, not only are you going to get the quick start guide
That's right.
to how you can create a product, because we're going to cover more of it, but you need a product. Pam is also going to do more trainings and give you access to her in-depth, step-by-step program to make sure that when you launch this product, you get paid.
One step at a time. That's right.
Yes, I focus on the result paid, but okay,
Yeah.
You need a product. You need to know what product you want. Depends on what kind of quality of life you need. I don't know why I'm using this.
I don't know
Just use
either.
a finger.
Okay.
I'll use fingers. Okay.
Whatever you want.
You need to know. You need a product. You need to know what kind of quality of life you want, so you know what services you want to, what
That's
you want
right.
to do with your time.
That's right.
Okay. And then you said the customer. So you
Yeah.
got to focus on who you're going to help.
That's right.
So you can target your messaging. for
Very
them.
narrowly and very specifically.
Okay.
There's a saying, the rich is in the niche. The more narrow you can go, the better. And then the next step is you make an offer. And this is where everybody gets jumbled up. They think, and I thought this when I was starting out, that the way you do it is you make your product or service, you make it the best it can be, and then you go out and market and sell it.
Because you did that when you first got out of Supper
I did.
and you
I
had this
did.
beautiful, amazing,
Yeah,
bright, shiny
because
product.
exactly.
And you know all the steps of making that
Yeah.
happen. And so you dialed it in, and you had this perfect drop, you had the field of dreams, and what happened?
I built it and no one came. And no one came because I wasn't clear who it was really for, and there was too much in it. So I'll get to that in a second. Hold that up, a little teaser there. But the next step is you make an offer, because you have to know that people are going to buy what it is you're offering before you invest all this time and energy in making it. Now, where I got messed up in my head is I thought I would see marketers sell something before they created it, and it would freak me out, because I'd be like, well, they're just throwing together their product. It's going to be crap, and I don't want to put out crap. I'm not going to do that. What I learned is that when you make an offer and you sell something, it can be to a couple of people, a handful of people that you meet for a workshop. It doesn't have to be this big thing. In fact, that's how most companies start, is smaller. But when you sell it first, what happens is it becomes a better product, because you're putting people through your system who are invested in the result. Don't give it away for free, because then they're not invested in taking action.
I want my notepad. When you sell it first, you create a better
product, because what happens is usually your first time or first iteration, whether it's the shoe that you poured rubber in a waffle iron or whatever it is, you're getting to watch people use it. That first shoe was put on a track, and somebody ran around, and parts of it worked, parts of it didn't work, and they were able to make it better. So if it's training, the way you deliver it is you interact with your customers, and your customers are going to tell you where they're confused, what they want more of, what they want less of. They're going to ask you their questions, and that is going to make it a better product.
Well, and with my fists or fingers or whatever we were using before, if you identify who you want to serve, who you want to help,
That's right, and just go help them.
You can help them. What you can also do is ask them. So, for
That's
example,
right.
my father
Yeah.
could go ask his customers what else they
What do
need.
you want? What do
Or
you
he
need?
could go after, let's say he knows everybody in the world of
That's
polo,
right.
because he's a horse river,
Yeah.
he teaches polo. He knows a ton of people in all these different
That's
industries,
right.
whether it's hunter jumper or dressage or whatever. He could find out what does his ideal audience want to know
That's right.
about? What do they want to learn about? What are they
That's right.
passionate about? What's a problem that they have right now that they really want solved? And even better, my dad or you, whether you are or me, we're not going to be the one to necessarily solve it. We can go find the solution
That's
and
right.
bring it to them.
And that's a great way to get your product started too. We've had people, I'm at a 3-day event right now. We had somebody make a product whether they were here. All they did with their cell phone and a selfie stick and a little microphone. You don't even need the microphone. That's how good smartphones are today. They went and they found 5 experts in our audience in their field and interviewed them. And they just sat down, kind of like what we're doing here. The event's going on over here. And they interviewed them. And they have this great 5-module product that they didn't even have to deliver the content. I mean, how great is that?
So that's like the Oprah principle, where Oprah became an expert
That's
and
right.
an authority, not because she was an expert or authority at anything really, but she just, by association, she became a pretty powerful woman.
She became Oprah.
She became Oprah, which is hard to go
Yeah.
backwards, which is...
I know. I didn't know that for like 10 years. I saw it when I finished.
Well, and so what I love about that is that means you right now can go out and you can sell a product before you ever
Make
it,
And
and
then
to test the market anyway.
That's right. And then make sure and then, if no one buys, great. You didn't invest all this time and energy into making something. If a couple people buy, great. You can put it through the system, refine it, go out, make the offer again and getting better. It's just the more times it's a cycle. It's not a linear thing. It is a get out there, share, help people with what you know, deliver it, get feedback, refine it, do it again.
And okay, so I love what you just said, and I'm distracted because can you give me an example of selling something first?
Yeah, well, once I figured out what I was doing wrong, for my very first product creation training, I had an opportunity to speak at a live event, and I went to the live event, and you can do this on a teleseminar, on a webinar, on a live casting. There's so many ways to reach your audience, and it's so great. So I gave my presentation. I taught content for like 45 or 50 minutes, and then at the end, I made an offer. I said, hey, I have this new product creation system, and it's a 7-week mentoring course. I'll walk you through step by step, and here's the investment. And I got 20 people to raise their hand and say, yeah, I want this. So then I just, once a week for the next 7 weeks, got on a webinar. I might probably do a Google Hangout today. The technology keeps improving. And I would teach, I would answer their questions, I'd find out what they want to know, and I would send them the recordings and send them out my slides or a little handout that summarized what we did. And that became the first version of my product. Now for my product creation course, I'm on the 4th iteration. So it's really good now.
This is so cool. So you sold it before you made it.
Yeah.
You get 23 people buy it.
That's right.
And not for $1, but for probably thousands of dollars
Yeah.
or something, right? So that's a decent payday.
Yeah.
And that was without making it. I remember when you told the story earlier, you had talked about your trepidation, saying, I'm not sure that's what I want to do. That's not how I've done it in the past. What if all this old BS came in, that it's not going to be a quality product, but instead, she just future paced us for 4 years. She said, well, it was so good the first time when I did it live. I did it again and made changes. I did it
And
again
those
and made
customers
changes.
got the benefit of me and my time. They got a lot of one-on-one attention because they were the first group I put there.
And so all they did was say thank you for all your extra attention
That's
while
right.
you're creating this.
That's right. And it's a fallacy. I think sometimes, we think we got to, I put in this product, then I got to do this. And a lot of times it's just, you're known for one thing. And be known for that one thing, whatever that is, whatever your unique special sauce is. And a special gift, we all have one. And sometimes, like you said, your gift is just bringing other experts to the table, or helping people break things down, or just helping give people the confidence they can do it. But what happens is you help those people, and then after the races, you become known for this one thing, and then you can keep building out that one thing, and then you can have other products and services that all relate to that. But start with the one thing. It's the whole thing. There's product creation theory, and there's product creation reality. There's economic theory, and there's economic reality. And product creation theory is, you gotta have your whole product funnel figured out and your product suite. That's not how companies work. They start with one idea, one thing, they get it in front of customers, and they start delivering value.
So I'm going to pepper you with a couple questions here. I've met some people recently who are having challenges getting started.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to mention. So there's a young lady I know, and she has been in the industry of being a thought leader and becoming her own expert and finding her niche. And she's having a challenge of picking, what do I do? Who I am, what I do. There's another gentleman who's a fireman, and he's started a podcast. And that's great, but he doesn't know what to sell, and he hasn't created a product. So they're still concerned about what their next. Are they going to write a book, or what that title's going to be? And there's other examples like that. So what do you say for the person who knows they have greatness inside of them, and they're still confused? Because here's what I find: when I'm confused, I do nothing.
Right.
I don't know what to pick. I'm not going to pick anything because I don't want to pick the wrong thing.
That's a safer bet. That's right. And my answer to my question is, it's an interesting thing because it's a different answer than I had when I was starting out, which is as crazy as it sounds, and I promise I'm going to go somewhere with this. It's just pick something and do it. And because we don't know where the path is going to lead us,
I'm
right?
going to interject here. Pick something that sounds so easy because you're going to keep talking and go on.
I'm going to explain it so that you're not just like, oh, great. Now this is this whole thing, and she said pick something.
What I think is so cool here, though, and I'm just taking it, I'm trying to bring it down to the most caveman of baby steps because you lose me here. I'm just because I'm not that quick. I'm not good at cramming in the box, right? Pick something. Period. Stop. End of sentence. When should I pick something?
Now.
But what if should I wait till tomorrow to pick something?
You should pick something now. And what do people ask you for and about? That's the simplest thing. We all have something that people tend to come to us for advice about, or that we're good at. So if you have 4 or 5 things, or you're a fireman, well, what do I love to do? Pick something in that genre. Are you graded? If somebody wants to become a fireman, it's actually really hard to go through and pass school and become whatever the certification is to become a fireman. So maybe you just pick something. Maybe you're going to create a course and you're going to teach people how to get involved.
But Pam, I have 10 things that I love, and I just don't know which one to choose. I just don't know. I really like this one. I like this one for this reason. I'm just giving you the same conversation.
Great. Then you're going to pick this one.
But what about all of these, Pam?
You're going to do them down the road.
But I'm not ready for this one because I don't know what to do. I don't know how to sell it.
You're just going to go out.
So I should probably start this next month.
Do you have one person that you helped with what you know in this area?
Yes.
So who's that person?
Joe Blow.
And tell me about Joe. I hope it's not Joe Blow. I hope there's not really a guy out there named Joe Blow. So what did you do to help Joe Blow?
Okay, so now I'm not a fireman.
Yeah. So but for the fireman, it really is you pick your product idea based on what you're passionate about, what you're good at, what you enjoy. You don't even have to be the expert. If you really are in that place of like, oh my gosh, I don't know, I've got 10 things to do, then you know what? Then you become the person who brings other experts to the table in your field. So that's where I would start. If I really didn't know where to start, that's what I would do.
Well, and I think I learned something else from you just by pretending in a silly example, because I was giving you the same bullshit excuses that most people give at some point in their life about something that holds them back. They're not making a decision.
Scared,
and I do it. I've done it. And in that place, I cycle with I can't, I don't know, and that's going to continue. And so what you just did to help me was you stopped the madness. You helped me choose. You immediately took away this one, and I actually physically felt better even though it was silly. And then you stopped my
certified fighter.
But you stopped my ranting, and you actually said, "Well, Trevor, just this one." And we may. But here's the thing: I got ahead. See, my experience is I need freaking
don't go it alone. And that's why what I do now is, I've got this whole community of product creators, and they are in. I'm in the community every day. They're in every day, helping each other, answering questions, giving people the courage when they don't have it, helping give input and advice about where to go next. And you hit the nail on the head. I think that's probably the biggest thing. Is don't go it alone. Follow a system. We've given you a lot of great tools and resources for free here, since you're making here with this interview, and get some help. Don't go it alone. And get a mentor. Use the people around you. Use your community.
And a lot of people are thinking, well, okay, I've got to do my Infusionsoft or my Aweber or my Facebook and my advertising, and I'm going to have to learn Fiverr, and I'm going to have to do this, and I'm going to have to do that. But hold on, Pam, but I need to do that, and I don't have enough money right now to be able to hire anybody. That's the risk.
And I don't want you to hire anybody right now.
But I need somebody, but I don't have any money.
I was going to pull out my phone. So you grabbed me in the hall, and you had a phone. Now you have fancy, you have a tripod, just to keep the camera steady. But with a microphone and a phone, you said, hey, let's sit down and do an interview. And I'm like, what, right now? And here we are, right?
I'll use this, I'll bring this into the camera. This is one of the tools that I use. I think I bought.
It's what, like $5?
Yeah, $5 like on Amazon, and I put.
And it's purple.
Which is cute. Look at that. And this could be my camera that I can film. And I'm filming this right now on my iPhone 6.
That's right.
With the backup camera over here.
Yeah, you don't even need the backup camera.
No, but I'm just being tricky.
That's right. You're being fancy. So you don't even have to be fancy. It's with nothing more than a smartphone and a microphone and sitting down with an expert and just interview them. Just ask them some questions. What's your background? What are 3 tips you can give me about X? What are the biggest mistakes people make about X? What's a mistake you made? What's the next thing somebody can do to get started?
And my wife began this process. She wanted to write a book.
Yeah.
and she's had books working inside of her forever. And she was struggling to take that next step and had all these ideas, and finally just one day picked. She didn't pick her nose. I just did that.
Too much
I'm sorry.
information
Hold on,
here.
I
I'm
just
like,
rubbed
yeah,
it on.
I'm gonna.
But one day she finally picked. She just finally picked one thing, and she got on the phone, she picked it up, and she started calling people and said, "Can I interview you
That's right.
about money parenting?" And she has a whole
that's
program that
great.
she does for teaching parents how to raise financially responsible
great.
kids.
That's great.
And then she got so confident after one phone call and moved into the other. And my wife is a very powerful, confident woman, but she was still feeling challenged about what's the next step, and so she picked. I think that's the most powerful thing.
I do, and it sounds so simple. It's a story. Maybe I'll wrap up with a story. And you know, one of the cool things I got to do when I was at Robbins is we did a lot of events. We had a lot of great speakers. And one of my favorite speakers I ever got to hear, he's passed on now, is General Morgan Schwarzkopf. And he told this story about before he was a general, he was sitting in the general's office, and the general was sitting there, and these two groups of PhD, MD, super mega scientists came in with a problem they had been trying to solve. I think it was physicists for 10 years. And Group A had solution A, Group B had solution B. And none of them had been able to figure out which one was the right one for 10 years. So Group A presented to the general, Group B presented to the general. The general thought for a minute and looked at both groups and said, "It's very simple. Option B, that's clearly the right option." They're like, "Oh, thank you, General, you're so wise, you're so smart, that's awesome." And they left and they went to work. And Schwarzkopf, at the time, he wasn't yet a general, he said, "General, permission to speak freely, sir." And the general said, "Sure." And Schwarzkopf says, "With all due respect, sir, I know you're really smart, but I also know you're probably not as smart as these, 20 physicists who were just here. So how in the world did you know what to do?" And the general said, "It's very simple. For 10 years, no progress has been made. They've just been going on and talking about the problem and going in circles. So I know if option B isn't the right option, if they are moving down the path, they're going to figure it out really fast. And they'll modify and they'll adapt and they'll move over to option A. But if they don't do anything, they are going to sit in a boardroom for another 10 years and nothing's going to get done." And that is really probably the best tip. I mean, there's steps and you just take it one step at a time, but that's really the best one.
Well, I know we didn't get into all the steps here, and that's actually great, because here's the deal. You've got to go get the free gift that we gave you. I'm not going to repeat it again. You've got to go to greatnessquest.com/Pam, and you'll get the how-to, the baby steps, and we'll invite you to more training that will walk you through, I call it advanced, but it's just making sure you get it done.
It's how to make money with your ideas. It's simple as that. How to add value, make a difference, and get out there right now. Start making money with your ideas.
And I know from personal experience that taking what you shared with me helps me every day with actually taking action and getting stuff done systematically. So it is a system. You don't have to know it. That's okay. Get started. And that's about it. I think we're good. Anything else you'd like to say?
That's it. Do I get to kiss you again? Thanks
Do I
for
get to
having
kiss
me.
you?
And let us know. We want to hear it. Wow, this is going down a very interesting path.
Hold on.
Wow. So we just.
I think that was my butt.
It was your butt. I know. I've actually noticed I didn't get up. I know to not ever put your butt.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but just get out there and get started, and just every little step builds on the last, and just know that you can do it, and that you deserve to have your message out there, and to be able to live a lifestyle that's meaningful to you, where you're making a difference, and you have that income that's reflecting the value that you're able to give.
Pam Hendrickson, ladies and gentlemen, and we will see you next week. You're watching the Whatever It Takes Network, and this is Greatness Quest, helping you unleash awesome greatness or other good, not awesome words in your life, in your business. That is the best I've ever been.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Greatness Quest is also available for download on iTunes and Stitcher. See the link in the description below.